calling you the Hindu goddess.
Okay, we will continue this
West Coast.
online at our Travel Channel
Yes.
blog.
River Monk.
It is now 3 o'clock and the appointed time to start the regular board meeting of the Yosemite Community College District Board of Trustees for May 11, 2022. We'll move right into 1.2 roll call and establishment of quorum, and I'll turn this over to our board stenographer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I can.
No questions about listening right or anything, right?
No. Right now, we're just going to conduct roll call. So Trustee Aguilar.
Here.
There you go. Vice Chair Beggs.
Yes.
Trustee Vulcan.
Here.
Trustee Hinton.
Here.
Trustee Nicolau is absent. She will be coming in for a portion of the meeting. We'll make note of the time. Trustee Richard
Yes.
and Board Chair Garrett.
Present.
Quorum is established.
Thank you. 1.3 Statements of Conflict. Yosemite Community College District Board members shall perform their duties in a manner free from conflict of interest to assure the proper performance of district business as well as to earn and keep public confidence. In accordance with Board Policy 2710, conflict of interest at this time, governing board members will declare any conflict of interest and note their abstaining from discussion and voting on any particular agenda item. This disclosure will be noted in the official minutes. Does anyone wish to declare a conflict? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on now to 1.4, public comments. Do we have any?
There were no public comments received electronically. And
Okay, let's
I
not
don't know
all
if
rush,
there's
let's
any-
not all rush the microphone.
Anyone that would like to make a public comment in the room?
Yes,
Just for
Can
clarification,
you
is this
come up?
meeting being recorded or live streamed?
So the question is if the meeting is being recorded or live streamed. It is not being live streamed. We don't have the capability, but it is being recorded.
Thank you.
Okay.
so with that, we'll move on now to item 2.1, closed session agenda. The items are listed on the published agenda. Also listed is the corresponding government code section giving authority for the board to hear those items in closed session. So with that, we will move into closed session. I'll start off soft and work up to crescendo here, right? All right, it is the appointed time of 5:30, and I know we're all busy, and we want to make sure we give everybody the opportunity to speak. So with that, we're going to call the May 11, 2022 meeting of the Yosemite Community College District Board of Trustees to order. And now we'll move on to item 3.2, Pledge of Allegiance. And my esteemed colleague, Antonio Aguilar, is going to lead us in the pledge.
All right, ready? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item 3.3, roll call and establishment of quorum. The board stenographer will conduct a roll call to establish a quorum.
Student trustee Archia.
Present.
Municipal. Vice Chair Beggs.
Yes.
Trustee Vulcan.
Here.
Trustee Hinton.
Here.
Trustee Nicolau.
Here.
Trustee Richard.
Yes.
Board Chair Garrett.
Present.
Everyone is present and accounted for. Quorum is established.
Thank you.
You forgot to tell me.
You did the pledge.
Oh, okay, I was here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Trustee Aguilar.
I'm here.
3.5, change, 3.4, report out from closed session. The board has nothing to report out from closed session. 3.5, changes in order of business. The board reserves the right to modify the order of business in a manner that it deems appropriate by consent of the board. Does anybody wish to change the agenda for order of business? Going once, going twice? Okay. And before I forget, because I do that quite frequently, hold on a moment here. It's our first time in public, so you have to bear with me. I'm a little shaky up here. But anyway, once again, this would not have been possible without our IT staff working behind the scenes. This board, I guess one of the good things that's coming out of COVID is we recognize that our IT infrastructure up here at Columbia College is in desperate need of enhancement, of build out, of additional IT infrastructure so that we can reach more folks and reach out to our broader community. So we are working on that. But even with that, none of this would have been possible without our IT folks. And here today we have Jeff Swank and Kevin Granados, who's standing back in the corner to keep me on the toes. Now that I've repaired my reputation, we'll move on now to item 3.6, approval of minutes of the April 13, 2022 Board of Trustees regular meeting.
So moved.
Okay, motion moved by trustee Dr. Milton Richards. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Nicolau. So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain. I wasn't there for the entire meeting.
Okay, so we have 6 in favor, 1 abstention, which is trustee Margie Bulkin. All right, we'll move on now to item 3.7, approval of the minutes of the April 20th, 2022 Board Strategic Conversation and Special Board of Trustees
So moved.
meeting. Moved by trustee Margie Bulkin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Nicolau. Any further discussion, comments? Seeing and hearing none, all those in
I just want to make note that both of those, I believe all the trustees received the corrections.
Yes.
So we'll just make note that they are the amended minutes, correct?
Correct. Thank you for that. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving right along here with, 3.8, public comments. Did we receive any public comment via email first and foremost?
There were none received via email.
Okay.
And I did not receive any speaker request forms unless
Okay.
there's anyone that's wanting to come up to the podium.
Okay. Any public comment at this time, or obviously if there's a particular agendized item that you want to speak on, we always reserve time accordingly for people to come up and make public comment on that agendized item. So right now, any public comment not related to an agendized item. Okay, we'll move right along now to Board 4.1, Board Finance Committee report. So the Finance Committee met on May the 2nd, if my memory serves me correctly. And as usual, we discussed the routine.
You were late.
I was late. I was late. I had the Dr. Milton Richards excuse, so we won't go into detail on why. But,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, there we go.
I got it.
So we got a late start, thanks to the chair, but anyway, moving right along. So we discussed usual items, and I want to comment both of our campuses, colleges, I should say, and central services. We're still operating below budget, given our current situation. We still don't have an update from the governor's office. It should be coming out the end of this week with an update on the governor's May revise as far as what additional items are going to be added to the budget for California community colleges. And obviously our biggest concern is the hold harmless, because going forward, that's probably the biggest piece ongoing for community colleges like ours. Again, we came out on the winning side originally on the budget. Now we're going to be moved down to the losing side. And with our respective PERS and STIRS rates as a percentage of payroll are going up about 3.5% to 4%. So our FTEs are down. We got an update on our FTEs. So remember, it's a 3-year rolling average. So going forward, if our FTEs get set to the lower amount, we're gonna get hit with that rolling 3-year average where our apportionment will go down. So we're keeping an eye on both of those things, and hopefully we get some direction from the governor and the state chancellor on assisting districts like ours, because keep in mind, as you all know, we're serving a socially, economically disadvantaged group of people. A lot of these are first-time students, and we want to have the resources available to continue to serve that broader community, so we're keeping an eye on that. Any additional comments by my fellow Finance Committee members? Trustee Dr. Milton Richards, or?
Okay, we're good to go with on time? No.
Okay, thank you. All right. He's telling me to move along, I think. So with that, we'll move into the Board Policy Committee report, and the chair is Nancy Hinton.
Thank you, Chair Garrett. We met on Monday, the 9th of May, and, okay, thank you. And discussed the policies that you will see on page 73 of 110. If you have the agenda, I'll run through them real fast. Student member, withholding of student records, classification review, industrial accident and illness leave, employees called to military duty, discipline and dismissal of academic employees, discipline and dismissal of classified employees, and also the last one on the first reading or second reading was 7-8044. You should have gotten a paper in front of you that talks the corrections that were made at that meeting. Go down to the first reading was 2725, board member compensation, 7160, professional development. And at this time, I'd just like to say that the board is very much in favor of professional development that would help all of the staff to do a better job and feel more confident in what they're doing. 7370, political activity. 7400 is travel. 7-8043, legal authorization for employment. 7-8050, professional improvement. And 7-8055. The last three are being pulled from the policy because they're redundant with policies that are found in other areas. Now back for the board's information, we are asking that you approve the second readings as they have been amended. Any questions, any comments from my fellow trustees?
Any questions from trustees or comments from the public? All right, thank you, Nancy Hinton.
Thank you.
We'll move on now to item 5.1, presentation repopulating enrollment plan updates, Columbia College and Modesto Junior College and district-wide updates. So President Tran can lead us off.
Good afternoon, Board Trustee, good evening, community members. For a quick update on enrollment at Columbia College, as you know, the pandemic really hurt our enrollment, but the good news is we're moving back. So in 2021, we're about 3,000 students, and now we're serving about 2,500 students. And some of the key area we noticed is that CTE bounced back better, meaning our students are in the class more. So we're putting more, the combination of in-class offering about 50%, and then we also understand because of the pandemic, our online course has to increase, so it's increasing with a percentage about 30, 32, 33, and then we have also our inmate population where the class has to be in person. So that model will continue to move along the way. What our effort right now for the summer looks flat, someday, a little bit here, but we just started, May just started, so we have classes starting now, we have class start in June, we have class start July. So we're looking at increment promotion. The idea is you can get a class at Columbia in the summer in any of those months. So it isn't a hard start date, a hard end date, and we'll roll that out marketing campaign. At the same time, we're working with a agency, 25th Hours, to do the promotion, which is free for me for fall, and that is going to be a very encompassed comprehensive, where we're looking at making radio ad, newspaper, working with the social media, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. And then we were very fortunate that as we make our names around town, people are giving us their property space to advertise on behalf of Columbia. We'll do a mailer to all our high school. We're doing workshops. So for us, it is an effort of the whole colleges. We have Go Columbia Day. So our leadership teams feel very confident that we will be able to grow back enrollment, but we have to be more thoughtful. For example, the biggest decline was our non-credit because of COVID. We couldn't offer that. So now we're looking at it because we lost about 400 students out of the non-credit. So we're going to grow that back. So that's our strategy for enrollment, and if that works. But the good news I wanted to share is that so many great things are happening at Columbia College. I think it really will augment, expand our enrollment. I'm very proud that the college is going to get recognized tomorrow. We are one of several colleges that successfully closed the gap for our first-year student, first generation, where they're able to place in an English coursework 100%. So meaning they don't have to take remedial, they take the English one day and then transfer. And two populations that we achieved that was our first-year student and our Latinx population. So along with all this great accomplishment that the college is moving forward, I think it will help when people say, wow, that's a great thing, and then enrollment will climb back. But, so that's the update. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Tran. Any questions from the board for President Tran? Anyone out in the audience? Any questions? Okay, you're getting off easy here.
Can you make sure they turn on the microphone and speak, because I don't know if it's...
Oh, okay. Yeah, make sure you turn on your microphone so we can make sure it's recorded, especially you.
I thought I was loud enough.
Okay, Dr. B, you're up.
Okay, good evening. It's good to be in person. Enrollments, numbers, but before I go there, I have to say that we celebrated the party of the century at Modesto Junior College last Friday. I call it the Super Bowl of student success, our graduation. At one point of time, we reached a point when I was thinking that fire marshal should not come and shut us down, because we had a crowd of 6,800 people approximately, give or take some. And yeah, it was a tight program, 2 hours, 700 plus students walked. It was the largest graduation that we had. And the raw emotion that we had from students displayed out there, that was unbelievable. It really brings us out what we do there. Trustee Aguilar was there with me, and we were hand in glove, shaking hands and giving out the diplomas, and that was great. Faculty members, there were plenty of them out there in person, and good to see all of them supporting our students. So great event, I really enjoyed that. And if you can, next year, when you get a box office seat to the program, Super Bowl in your town, go for it.
Yeah.
Enrollments, summer. You know, I'm a little shocked when I see this number. Our summer number this year, summer 2022, stands at 1,975 FTES. In retrospect, last year was 1,870. So we're 8% up in FTES. I repeat, 8% up in FTES last summer to this summer. More surprising than that number, the fill rate. Fill rate is total number of seats offered versus number of seats taken. That's a productivity or efficiency measure. Last year was 71.2%. In fact, summer of 2019, before the pandemic, fill rate was 72.5%. This year, we are ahead of summer 2019's fill rate. We are at 74.8, almost 75%. So we are ahead of pre-pandemic level fill rates. We are about 8% up in FTES. So this is the second consecutive semester that MJC has registered an uptick in enrollment. Are we back to the pre-pandemic levels? Not even close. But we are bridging the gap. And I think it's particularly heartwarming for us because up and down the state, I'm yet to come across campuses which are talking about 2 consecutive semesters of higher enrollment. We did not go for a MJC's Free for Me campaign for summer because A, summer is small, B, we didn't have enough runway to launch that campaign, because it takes some time for the campaign to gain ground and go over. We would be launching that for our fall enrollment, and with that, I am expecting that, yes, we should be having 3 consecutive semesters of enrollment uptick in MJC. That should be a step in the right direction. Now, this is not an accident. Yes, there is a campaign that's going on, but one area that specifically we have been looking at, and that's our male population. Male population we've been losing consistently. The area that we are in, one of the reasons why we lose our male population, they can work, because physical abilities get you a job in Stanislaus County. Job may not be lasting long enough, may not be paying a good wage. So we are losing this to the people who are going out and working. In order to counter that, what we are consciously doing is taking the college to the institutions or to the employers. We have several arrangements with the local employers where employees are getting taught at the campuses itself. Example, Frito-Lay, their first batch who are completing their program, and thanks, we have great support from the academic senate and the faculty members in teaching those courses. Students saw an average salary jump of $20,000 once they completed the college program. So that's gaining traction out there. We have our partnerships with Blue Diamond, with Frito-Lay's. Of course, we have Amazon's Career Choice partnership. So with all of that, A, we are expecting the students to come back to college, the male student population, or getting enrolled in college, get a degree. Also with Academic Senate's partnership, we have launched ACCT, Applied Creativity and Community Transformation, where we are talking about real life problems in the business community and going out and solving it. Again, another way of how we can engage the community to get back to the college campus. So this whole effort that we've been doing, it seems it's showing some result. Wouldn't be overnight. It takes a lot of time to build back the enrollment, but I'm optimistic the way the trends that we are seeing, we are at the positive note. Work is not finished. We know that budget is looking good, but at the same time, we are not getting paid for our supplementals. That's a big chunk of change that we expect to get. So we will keep an eye on May revise of how governor's budget revise is going and how much money we can garner from there. But overall, I think it's a positive uptick in our enrollment, in our community activities. Oh, last but not the least, how can I forget about that? Lifelong Learning Division, 2 years back, we had a $400,000 shortfall in that budget. This year, we are posting a profit of $1.8 million. It's a $2.2 million swing, and that's because actively we are going for these corporate training programs and going there and teaching them. And $2.2 million swing, that's pretty significant, I would say.
Vicki Trask is doing a great job, isn't she?
Oh man, Vicki is, yes. Dr. Trask is unstoppable. She just goes on and she's a fighter.
Dr. Richards?
Dr. B, you were kind enough to allow Antonio and I to sit in on a call when you talked with various counselors throughout the various high schools. And there was discussion of how we could make it easier for our students to speak with these people and to apply. And there was also conversations about possibly putting some of our people in the high schools at various times. Have you made any progress on that?
Yes, we have. And we have Start Smart program that we are participating with the faculty members who are coming in and working with the high schools, where the high schools, we are providing support to them so that they can enroll. I think if I remember it right, this last week or maybe the upcoming week, Andrea knows it precisely the dates, with MCS, our team is going out there. Because the steps that we identified when we talk to them is students cannot enroll because of the problems they face in CCC Apply. Now CCC Apply is a package that's in Chancellor's office. We cannot make an overnight change. What we can do is we can go to the high school, say we are coming on this date, whoever wants to apply, come over here, and we would be setting camp and we would handhold you to get this application process done. And we are going in each of the schools to say that this is how we would handhold and get you admitted on that one. So yeah, I guess all this result that we are seeing, it's a combination of actively going out the college at the locations, that's one. Pursuing the high schools, pursuing dual enrollment, all of those strategies are coming together to gain this enrollment.
Thank you, that's really
Sure.
good to hear.
Thank you, Dr. B. Any questions for our president of Modesto Junior College? Comments from the audience? You're getting off easy again. There's a theme here, I think. We'll turn it over to the district perspective, Trevor Stewart. Going to let our chancellor go.
I'm very happy to be,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're gonna have to get used to that. We didn't do that in Zoom.
I'm working for Jack here.
I'm very happy to hear the good reports from the two colleges. I have been meeting with some of the superintendents up here in Sonora and down in Modesto, and I have pledged that our two colleges will support the area high schools. So I'm really glad to see efforts have already started. We are looking for partnership for the long term. To do that, we will work with the high school to better understand the needs and to find the type of classes that are specifically looking for. So, thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Yellen. Any questions for the Chancellor? Yes, Trustee Vulcan.
Turn my mic on. I wanted to underscore the comments of the Chancellor, and it's always nice to get a third-hand compliment. The Chancellor and I were at a meeting earlier today with the president of the hospital and the operations director, who had just come from a meeting with Brian Sanders to solidify this idea, or continue to solidify this idea that the Chancellor was talking about. But the aha that I hadn't seen before, and these are people I've worked with for a long time, of the investment that we know is so critical at the high school level for us to recruit or to reach out to fresh recruits for college class opportunities. So thank you, Brian, because that was a third-hand compliment that came today through that meeting, and it's nice to hear that network continuing out throughout the high schools. Thank you.
Steve was there too. Steve was there and Michelle Walker as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Vulcan. Hey, you put it off long enough. Trevor, go ahead.
I don't think I was given an update tonight.
Oh,
So,
okay.
as it
Free rein
relates
to
to
talk about
COVID,
anything you
we're,
want.
we're declaring back in person, right? So, we will update you as it relates to COVID if conditions turn for the worse in our communities. But until then, I don't think we're going to give a COVID-specific update until just before this fall semester.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on now to 5.2, association reports, and with that, we'll start off with the Associated Students of Columbia College, and we have Andrew Echeverria. Oh, Echeverria, sorry about that.
You can go to the
Whoa.
podium.
Welcome.
If you could turn on
Press the button.
front-
No.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you guys all. My name is Andrew Echeverria. I've been a student at Columbia College for the last 2 semesters, 3 if you count this current summer semester that I'm going and enrolled in. And I'm excited to hold the position of ASCC president this year. As for upcoming academic year. As for ASCC, we are excited to continue the momentum we have created this year and carry that on to the next academic year with even more events. We plan to have the usual events we do, such as Mid-Semester Madness, as well as the Giving Tree, and adding new events such as kind of like the national holidays you hear every day, like National Pepperoni Pizza Day, where we could get pizza for students, encourage them to mingle around, or maybe the street food for that day so they can celebrate the said holiday. And so we also plan to have Spirit Weeks as part of our usual plan for each semester. We also started goal setting for the next year. That includes building more connection with faculty and staff, continuing a lunch with your leaders. That was a good success last semester, so we want to continue to have that, encourage students to mingle with their faculty and staff and get to know everyone individually, and as well as other ways to engage. As a team, we look forward to continuing working with administration to support student success. Other than that, that's really it for my initial report, my introduction. Again, I look forward to working with you guys for this upcoming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions for Andrew?
Good job.
Okay,
Welcome.
good job. Welcome. Thank you very much for willing to commit to your fellow students. We do
What's your
appreciate
major,
it.
Andrea?
Business administration.
What's your dream job?
I really just a leadership role. I mean, top is the CEO of a company, but really any leadership role is kind of what I'm looking at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have a new Associated Students of Modesto Junior College president. And I think it's Neilani Pitzer. Is she here this evening?
So there was a update.
Okay.
How about we move to the next one and then?
Got it.
we'll
10-4. Next is Yosemite Faculty Association YFA President Dimitri Karyotis. Dimitri, welcome.
Good to see all of you in the flesh.
Yes.
You're all real people.
And you're much taller than I thought you were.
You flatter me. Greetings, Chair Garrett, trustees, and Chancellor Young. I begin by thanking everyone involved in planning the graduation commencement at both colleges. A colleague at Columbia College said the Columbia commencement was, in quotes, really good, had a big crowd, and lots of energy. The same can be said about MJC's centennial commencement, where all present, including the largest graduating class, enjoyed many celebratory moments, plus a fireworks show, and I even had the opportunity to talk with Trustee Aguilar. Both events were extraordinary. Bravo, YCCD. YCCD is concerned about the issue of non-instructional faculty not being given the option to work online remotely, as have instructional faculty for many years. This development restricts faculty and administration and hampers student success. As you all know, on any given day, the demand for drop-in counseling can be high, which in the past created wait times of up to 2 hours for students needing to see a counselor, primarily to choose classes for the upcoming term. Last summer, during such crunch times, the Dean of Counseling at MJC would call an additional counselor or two to jump online for an hour to break up the bottleneck. It was the first summer in many that students rarely waited for more than 30 minutes to see a counselor. Without the option to work remotely, this flexibility is not possible. Additionally, there are times when students contact a counselor or librarian at a moment's notice to work out pressing issues. The remote online option used in the past, long before and during COVID, made readily serving these students achievable. So devoted are some non-instructional faculty that they openly go against the new rule. I know counselors who have served students online remotely knowing full well they wouldn't be paid for doing so. And MJC librarians currently use the online remote option to serve students on Fridays and Saturdays when the college is closed. YFA is ready to negotiate this issue so we can again provide our students more access to needed services. I'm sure you share my concern about the standstill status of negotiations. What looked like a reasonable agreement regarding benefits that both the district and YFA teams had discussed, drafted, and wordsmithed suddenly became invalid because it hadn't been written up formally. Over a period of 9 months, both teams made tremendous progress. I fear this progress being derailed. Indeed, I'm concerned about negotiations, but more concerned about returning to a place where we operate according to technicalities. Given the recent state budget news that paints an even better picture for the upcoming year, perhaps more plausible than ever is the goal of inking this deal by the May 31 deadline. I conclude my report. Thank you.
Any questions for the YFA president? Nope.
How do you look so handsome?
I got off easy too.
Yeah?
How do you look so handsome today?
I'm standing next to you. That's the only reason.
And with that, we'll move on to California School Employees Association CSEA President Amy Levin. Good evening, Amy.
Good evening, Chair Garrett, fellow trustees, and Chancellor Young. It is definitely a pleasure to be able to travel up to Columbia and enjoy the beautiful campus. On behalf of the CSEA leadership team, we wanted to recognize Casey Fulkerson, Senior Administrative Secretary, for being selected by the Board of Trustees as YCCD Classified Employee of the Year. A big congratulations on this honor, and we know that Casey will represent classified professionals and our district well at the Board of Governors level. Classified professionals have made some major contributions for the graduation ceremonies last month. We also would like to give recognition and give thanks to enrollment services, student success representatives, instructional support specialists, financial aid, admission and records, business office, information technologies, facilities, transportation, campus safety, food services, and all the other departments that have had a hand in helping our students complete their degrees and certificates and be able to walk across the stage at their graduation last month. Classified professionals take great pride in their work and are always willing and eager to find ways and means to contribute to the success of our students and our community. We're not only the boots on the ground, but also the backbone that supports daily activities so our district and college campus are able to run smoothly and efficiently. As we come off the excitement of graduation, classified professionals can look forward to the week of May 16th through 21st, which honors classified for their dedication during Classified School Employees Week. The CSEA leadership team is excited and have plans to visit each campus and celebrate classified professionals with a little token of our appreciation. Today, I'm actually wearing the t-shirt from 2020 when we were faced with the ever-changing COVID climate. This year, we are also providing t-shirts for classified professionals that encompasses the theme, "We Bring It Every Day." Negotiations is still ongoing, and we are optimistic of coming to an agreement in a timely fashion. One of the concerns classified have been bringing forward is we've been called back to campus for the third time since the pandemic, even though many have been present on campus for the past 2 years. It is a very unique experience to be in the same room as your coworker while you're each on the computer in the same Zoom meeting. Classified professionals were surprised that in the era of virtual modality, tonight's meeting is not being live streamed. On a personal note, since I became CSA president in 2021, after Classified received the initial Repopulate the Campus, this is my first time face-to-face in a board meeting. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the Board of Trustees on behalf of CSEA Chapter 420. Thank you.
Amy, thank you very much. Any questions for our CSEA president? No. Amy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4, faculty representative of the board, Alan McKissick. Alan is not here this evening and has no report, so we miss Alan very, very much. Moving on to item 5, academic senate activity reports. Columbia College Academic Senate President Lana Vanis, and in her place will be Brian Green.
Thank you. Good evening. You'll remember that last month I filled in for Dimitri, so I'm pinching in for Laura. I think I'm available next month if anybody.
So you're a floating avatar.
That's right. I guess so. Right. That's right. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chair Garrett, Chancellor Young. My name is Brian Green, and I'm here on behalf of Lana Vanis this evening, who's unfortunately not feeling well. She wishes she could be here to see everyone and give this in-person report and just to see everybody. You know, I think we're all enjoying the fact that we're back and attaining a little more normalcy, I guess. Commencement, as Dimitri mentioned up at Columbia, was fantastic. I know a number of you were there. And many people have commented how great it was to be outside, how it made the event that much more special. Hope that we might be able to do that again in the future. Perhaps use Oak as a backup facility if need be. It's always great doing it, too, but outside was really nice. And I enjoyed the confetti at the end, although I did feel for the folks who were cleaning the facilities, who was cleaning it up the next couple of days. But that was a nice touch. I liked that. With commencement behind us, many of us take the opportunity over the summer to rejuvenate, to prepare for the fall, and just want to encourage everyone to take the time that you're owed to take a rest and to avoid burnout so you can best serve students, the college, and the district, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. I think that's true. Encourage everybody to take that opportunity. Lastly, the possibility of another upheaval in our administrative ranks at Columbia leaves faculty feeling unsettled. And we urge the board and district administration to minimize the disruption, to include faculty input in any decision-making as we go forward with filling these critical positions. Thank you for your time tonight, and have a safe trip home after the meeting. Thank you.
Brian, thank you very much. Any questions for Brian?
Can you sub for a board?
Yeah.
What was that?
Can you sub for a board member?
Can I sub for a board? Below my pay grade.
report tonight from the MJC Academic Senate President, Aisha Solal. So with that, we'll move right into Leadership Team Advisory Council, and in place of President Jillian Daly, we have Kelly Thomas. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much. Good to see all of you, and in person. I was with you filling in for Jillian again on Zoom, but this is fun. So first on our report to deliver, we are really excited. The LTAC team is partnering with Human Resources. I think that maybe you heard a little bit about it from Catherine Pritchard. I ran into her in the parking lot. Really excited to work together to create the second cohort for the Yosemite Community College District Leadership Academy. The YCC-ELA provides an avenue of professional development through the community colleges that can prepare current and future leaders while supporting their existing talent as well. The targeted cohort 2 will be the YCCD Community College deans and managers hired within the last 3 years. We took it back a little further due to COVID, and so we will be starting with new hires from July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2022. These fellows will be offered 7-session rigorous and supportive opportunity for leadership development and, of course, networking. We want to do these in person on the 4th Thursdays of each month, beginning in, the first session will be September 22nd, so in the fall, and the final session will be March 23rd of 2023. All sessions will be from 12 to 4 p.m., and we will have the opportunity to be at both colleges, both MJC and Columbia College, and some topics include understanding budgets, union contracts. We'll also be including a student panel discussion and self-care, of course, during these times. And then number 2, we have the 2021 Association of California Community College Administrators, ACCCA, Salary and Total Benefits Comparison Survey has come out. And over the last 3 years, YCCD administrators have continued to lose ground against the median for multi-college districts, of course, in the community college system. According to the survey, leadership team members would need anywhere between $2,800 up to $44,000 more in annual salary to reach median. Increased funding toward total benefits is also needed to reach the mean against similar districts. And finally, as you all have heard, and I'm sure many of you were there, the graduations. It was so amazing this year that we all could be in person. And I personally didn't get to see the MJC one, but I heard about the fireworks and just what an amazing turnout you guys had. So both colleges hosted successful in-person. The MJC Centennial graduation was the largest in attendance on record, and it included a video of the last 100 years, followed by a spectacular firework display. The LTAC would also like to thank board member Aguilar for his attendance, and we'd also like to give some shout outs to some key players that made the graduation so successful. And so the following leadership team members for Modesto's graduation, we have Trevor Carter, Alejandra Espinoza, Jeanette Fontana, Angelica Guzman, Judy Lanchester, Samantha McCarty, Yolanda Perigel, Sherry Suarez, and Jeff Swank. And then for Columbia, key players, we have Steve Andrade and his crew, Glenn Caldwell, Colleen Henry, Mike Igo, Judy Lanchester, once again, busy lady, and Melissa Raby. So thank you to them for just making sure that all the bells and whistles were present. It was a great celebration. Thank you guys for your time, and have a wonderful evening and safe travels.
Thank you, Kelly. Any questions for LTAC? Nope, we're on a roll here, we're on a theme. Okay, we're going to go back to the ASMJC report, and that'll be our student trustee giving that this evening.
Hello. Thank you, Chair Garrett. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Young, and community. From the ASMJC President, they state, greetings to the YCCD Board and members. My name is Neilani Peitzer, and I am an incoming student body president at Modesto Junior College. I apologize for not making it today and have submitted a short statement. ASMJC is currently growing and bonding as a team, as well as developing personal and leadership skills. Our summer training will begin on Monday, May 16th, and we are very excited. I look forward to formally introducing myself at the next YCCD board meeting and meeting you all. Sincerely, Neilani Peitzer. End quote.
All right. We look forward to meeting her as well. Okay, we'll move on now to 5.3, presentation and updates, Yosemite Community College District Chancellor Young.
Thank you. At YCCD, we have one student trustee who serves the entire year, and then the following year, the student trustee comes from the other college. So we have a system of alternating between the colleges. This year, we have been fortunate to have Ashir Amir Soleimani to serve as our student trustee. Now, he has been pursuing his studies, working, and also serving as a student trustee this year. I want to thank him for his commitment to representing the students at Columbia College and also at MJC. As we bid him goodbye, so that when he transfers to his university of his dreams, we hope that he will remember us and stay in touch with us. To recognize him for his contribution to the district, and especially to District Council, the shared governance body in which district gets together once a month to have conversation around important topics. And the students are represented by Asher. So as a little token of thanking him, I'd like to present him with this plaque here. Maybe the camera can zoom in a little bit before I walk in. Okay.
Do you want to come over here and we'll take a picture?
What, in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's do
okay.
that.
Yep, you can go.
Your hair is perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you're in a dorm, we expect that. Yeah, absolutely, there you go.
I also want to mention about the Classified School Employees Week celebration. It is slated for May 15 to 21. On Monday, May 16, from 1 to 3 p.m. at MJC East Campus. Tuesday, May 17, from 1 to 3 p.m. at the MJC West Campus. Wednesday, May 18, from 10 to noon at Columbia College. So notice that we have a celebration at each location. We want to show our appreciation to the contribution of our classified professional staff, and we hope that there will be a good turnout at each of these locations. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Chancellor Young. Any questions for Chancellor Young? Okay. Yes.
Who's our new trustee? Do we have our new trustee for the next year?
next month.
Next month?
Yes.
Will that be included?
Come from MJC.
So the term of the student trustees are from May 14th to May 15th.
So in our
And
next meeting,
so-
we'll have a,
So the next meeting will have the swearing in of a new trustee.
we don't know his name, that's what I was.
Or her. He or
Hasn't
she.
been elected yet,
Oh, okay.
right?
No,
Has there
they
been an
have
election?
the election results. I have to check my email.
Can't do this with it.
Okay.
No, because I know we discussed.
Thank you, Chair Aguilar. Moving right along. We'll move on with the consent agenda. And those are listed as items 6.2 through 6.8 on your agenda. First of all, does any trustee want to pull an item from the consent calendar for consideration? Okay.
So moved.
Okay. So we have a motion by trustee Dr. Milton Richards, seconded by trustee Margie Bolton to approve the consent agenda as listed on the agenda. And before we take a vote, as customary, I want to recognize Brian Jensen, 17 years of service, counselor, special programs, counseling, Columbia College. I want to thank Brian for his 17 years of dedicated service to the district, especially up here in Columbia, and in reaching out to this very broad area and making sure that our students in this area fulfill their higher education goals. It's very worthy of anyone to serve in community college and getting students to achieve their goals. So I thank Brian very much and wish him all the best in retirement. So with that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Okay, we'll get through this. Hang on. We'll now move on to section 7.1, board policy, second reading. And Kimberly, you're up. Don't hurt yourself.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, trustees, Chair Garrett, Chancellor Young. Before you have 8 policies for second reading. The Board Policy Committee has made revisions to one of them, Policy 7232, which was provided to you. I'm here to answer any questions that you might have, and then I'm turning the floor back over to you for your vote.
Okay, any questions for Kimberly on any specific board policy on the agenda for second reading and obviously approval this evening? Going once, going
I
twice.
just have a clarification.
Okay, trustee Bolton.
Thank you, Kimberly, for all this information. So if I understand it correctly, the addition that you gave us is really only to add the one word, all proposed.
There's 2 spots. There's one on page 1 of 2, proposed, and then also on page 2 of 2, on line 11,
Thank you.
HR.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay, so with that clarification, any other questions for Kimberly? Okay, before you tonight is the recommended action. The Board of Trustees conducts a second reading on the following YCCD policies: 2015, 5035, 7232, 7343, 7346, 7360, 7365, and 7-8044 as attached to your agenda. And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved by trustee Nicolau, seconded by policy chair Nancy Hinton. Any further discussion, comments? Trustee Bolton?
Isn't then 7232? I didn't hear 7232 in your.
I did.
Yes,
Yeah.
7232 is a part of second reading that's the one with the revisions.
I'm sorry, I just didn't hear
Oh, okay.
Garrett say it, so my mistake.
I can go through it again.
No. Yeah, no further questions.
All right. That's the way to expedite it. So, all right, so we've, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, so moved. All right. Thank you, Kimberly. You want to stay up there since you're on a roll?
Yes.
All right. 7.2 board policy, first reading. Kimberly?
Thank you, sir. You have, trustees, you have 9 policies up for first reading. 3 of them have additional recommendations from the Board Policy Committee. Those policies are 7160, professional development, 7370, political activity, and 7400, travel. It is the recommendation of the Board Policy to accept those revisions as part of this first review, which is just reviewing only this time. Any questions?
Any questions for Kimberly? Looking around, I don't want to mess up now. Okay. All right, thank you,
Okay,
Kimberly.
thank you so much.
You bet. With that, we will now move on to item 7.3, District Administrative Services Quarterly Report on the District's Financial Position. Trevor Stewart.
Board Finance Committee has had the opportunity to review this quarterly report. As Trustee or Chair Garrett had mentioned earlier, we continue to remain under budget as it relates to expenditures for the current fiscal year. And so we are asking for approval of this document so we can submit it to the California Community College Chancellor's Office.
Any questions for Trevor Stewart? This item came before the Finance Committee meeting at the previously mentioned May meeting, and the Finance Committee recommended for approval and move it towards the full board for consideration. The recommended action before you tonight is that the Board of Trustees conducts a public hearing to review the district's financial report for the quarter ending March 31st, 2022, and direct staff to submit a copy of the required report to the California Community College's Chancellor's Office. And with that, I'll open the public hearing. Let's not all charge the podium at once. Keep calm. Okay. Anyone from the public wish to comment? Okay. We'll close the public hearing and move it back for consideration by the full board.
So moved.
So moved by Dr. Milton Richards. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, seconded by Trustee Jenny Nicolau. Any further discussion, comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Okay, we'll move right into 7.4, Columbia College Child Care Center Agency Annual Report. President Tran, I believe, is going to lead us off in this discussion.
Okay.
At least that's what I have on my notes, so I could be wrong. But.
We're seeking for approval of the annual report certifying the Columbia College Child Care that we're in compliance, that we met accreditation, and our lead with Kelly Thomas running the center. So we ask the board for move forward with approval to submit accreditation.
So moved.
Second.
I lost control again. All right, so we have a motion by Trustee Baldwin, seconded by Trustee Nancy Hinton, and the recommended action of the Board of Trustees accepts the Columbia College Child Care Center Agency Annual Report as attached to the May 11, 2002 agenda. And just so all of you out in the audience know, the agency annual report is a requirement of Child Care Center grant funding from the California Department of Education Child Development Division is due each year on June 1st. Staff and families participated in compiling this comprehensive program review document. So with that, is there a question? Oh, okay. I thought I saw a hand. Oh, okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, so moved. Okay. So we have 7.5, and this has been on our agenda, ongoing for months, and that's YCCD Resolution 21-22.22, continuing Board of Trustees authority to hold virtual meetings pursuant to AB 361. So, it's got me listed. I'm in trouble now.
So,
yes.
So you have
Thank you.
you're welcome. You have the two resolutions. One is the standard resolution that has been approved every month with the most recent slight minor change. And then you also have the resolution that was drafted by Trustee Beggs. And so we did go recently to the CCLC conference where they did talk about coming back to in-person meetings. There were colleges that were using the resolution to conduct hybrid model meetings where they allowed in person, both board members and public, as well as the Zoom. There were some attorneys that had shared that it's really, when you're enacting AB 361, it should be either just all in person or because of imminent danger to the public that you would only do Zoom. So there is a little gray area. Our attorneys did review the draft that was provided by Trustee Beggs, and they said that was fine. There was some minor changes on, let me go to my draft so that I can. On page 104 of 110 of the board packet, or page 2 of the draft 1B resolution, under the therefore be it resolved, third line that begins with those trustees who are ill or out of the area to participate via teleconference or phone, that was added. The attorney just wanted to make sure that it was, even though you mentioned trustees here, that the opportunity for persons to come in person would be both trustees and the public. So long as you allow both trustees and public to attend in person, that the resolution should be fine.
Great. I'm confused, so we still be able to do our meeting for the our regular monthly?
Yes.
So,
They're not capturing your audio, so there's a question for the board.
we'll be able still to have our meeting that we do with Trevor on Zoom. We'll still be able to do that.
The finance
The
committee?
finance meeting.
Yeah, that's what this resolution is saying.
So we can do both. We can do this one and then we can
Right.
do the other.
Yeah.
All right.
And the idea is so that if there's another problem too, like if there's a new variant or something nasty,
We can switch. Okay.
Move approval of the trustee Beggs policy.
Okay, so, fine. Is there any board member have any discussion? Trustee Baldwin.
At first glance, I mean, I read this, and I'm struggling with understanding how this promotes the message that we're sending to everyone else to come back in person, and that this resolution permits board members to conduct their business in an alternate way. And I'm uncomfortable with, I so appreciate Trustee Beggs putting her pen to paper to figure out how to adjust this, but as I read it and got more into it, I realized I'm not, it's not the direction I think that we should be going. I think that the direction that we're going is to meet in person like we are tonight, and that if a trustee is ill, just like if a staff member were ill, they have sick leave and they exercise that sick leave, and if a trustee is ill, they should not be participating in the board meeting if they're sick, and all we need is a quorum in order to function. So I'm uncomfortable with the way this doesn't address COVID. It addresses personal circumstances of board members. At least that's just how my cursory, well, I've read it a few times. And especially that that third paragraph that you pointed out, that trustees who are ill or out of the area. Out of the area means out of the area. I'm uncomfortable with that as well. Not present in the area in which we our jurisdiction. And as for the other resolution, what I understand the governor's AB 361 to permit is through 2024. Under the executive order that we are in a state of emergency, we have this to exercise, to fall back on, should we be unable to meet as a result of COVID. The other resolution, to me, addresses the personal circumstances or desires of each board member. So I'm struggling to find a way towards approving what's been written.
Trustee Richard.
Well, let me provide a different take on this situation. First of all, it's unfortunate that trustees don't get sick time or whatever. Second of all, it's perfectly legal, which I will be doing next month, to, if you have to be out of town, to call in. And that, you post or whatever, but there's also a movement in the legislature, which I believe is going to pass, which will allow you to call in. And I also think that the most important thing is that people be able to participate, and just because you may not be able to attend the meeting because you're ill, I think this is a nice backup that you could call, because I think that the ultimate thing is to get the recommendation. I think we're still sending the message, because, I think most of us will come to every meeting. But if there's a time that we're a little under the weather and we can't get here, or we're out of town, like I said, out of town's already taken care of, because you can call in, even though that has not been the practice of this board. But I've seen it done for years in other things. But I understand your concerns, but I don't agree with you.
I too have the same concerns, because AB 361 and this resolution is specific to COVID-19. And it's very clear from the legislation that two parts, and that is, AB 361 sunsets, it's no longer relevant as of January 1 of 2024. Also, the other part of that is, if the governor's executive order, if he rescinds that, AB 361 is no longer relevant. So at any point, if Governor Newsom rescinds his executive order, and we're no longer under that purview or auspice, then this is no longer relevant, and we'd be in violation of the Brown Act. I think it also is sending the wrong message to our internal community and our external community, that we're saying, we want all of you to come back and be in person, and yet we're carving out this exemption for ourselves. I cannot in good conscience. I know Leslie did it, best intentions, and this is not that. I just can't in good conscience vote to approve this, because I think it's going to be it also, AB 361 is, if you really get down into it, it's saying that the board recognizes an imminent threat, a public health threat, if we meet in person. Not that we're sick, whatever, not that we're out of town. We already have exemptions in our own policies that if we're sick, you're sick, and you notify the chancellor or the chair or Graciela and say, I'm ill, I can't attend, and we read that out at the meeting that so-and-so trustee is ill, can't attend. Fine, that's already there. If you're out of town, you post it, and if you're in Timbuktu and somebody from the tribe wants to come and be in the board meeting and call in, that's great, they can do that. That's already an existing statute. But to carve out an exemption for us when we're not carving that out for our own employees, I just can't approve it. So that's how I feel.
I have a question. So does that mean that if somebody like Shantanu was going to give a presentation at this meeting and he thinks he might have COVID, so he's at home, but he understands his presentation and he wants to call in on Zoom and give it, that he can't give it?
We're not talking about employees, we're talking about elected officials and the statute. I'm specifically.
You can't ask something of.
I'm talking about, we're telling our employees to come back, our classified and other employees to come back and be physically present on our college campuses. The Brown Act pertains to elected officials and doing the public's business in public. So that, I just can't in good conscience vote to approve it. Because I think we're going to get, my gut tells me, we extend this or somehow warp this into something, we're going to get sued for a Brown Act violation. That's my bet.
So
That's my guess.
no more Zoom meetings.
Not if we're sending the message to our employees.
Except for the finance committee.
No, if we're finance, if we're telling our employees, I'm going to be there. If they're there, I'm there. That's how I feel about it. Yes. Trustee Nicolau.
2 points I'd like to make. One, Graciela, please confirm, you said this has gone through legal review and they can stand behind this, as it is written with the addition of if trustees and the community can gather, like it needs to include both of those, but it has gone to legal review.
To our legal review, yes. To our legal review, yes. At the conference, it was more of a discussion that, unless there is imminent danger, because that's what the auspice of the resolution was for. And how can you have imminent danger when you're allowing the public to come together? So,
thank you.
And there was more legal advice at the conference that it was, if you want to allow the public to come, then you have the traditional Brown Act ability to post, at wherever the location that the trustee would be.
My second point I'd like to bring up, during my short time on the board, the more I'm convinced this board of trustees is not meant for people like me. It's not meant for people who have full-time jobs. It's not meant for people who have young kids. It is not here for people who are outside of the institution. And the reason I support this draft is because it allows me the flexibility to serve and to have a job and be a great wife and have small children. So for example, as we talk about committee meetings, there's no way I can attend a monthly committee meeting when I serve a typical job, just like all of our faculty and classified staff do for us every single day. I simply cannot serve in that capacity. Last week I was super sad to miss graduation, but we were at Disneyland, and that's something our kids had carved out for a year. We have future road trips coming up for 3 weeks across the US, but that is something, and while it's personal, and we are talking about how this is simply making a personal statement for the Board of Trustees, I will tell you, I'm committed to serving in my role when I'm on the road in an RV across the US, if I'm given the opportunity to join in a hybrid model. I, however, cannot be there in person. Now, this resolution is not about Jenny Nicolau, but it is about service, and therefore I stand behind it.
The Brown Act was not created, I think, when we had the ability to zoom in. It's old, and it was done to prevent backroom deals and, people hiding and not telling people where they were and all that stuff. I think this honors the purpose of the Brown Act, and it honors the people who elected us because it shows flexibility. It's not meant to be a long-term resolution. It's meant to sort of do this gap between COVID, which is totally new, and it was certainly not prepared for, and this transition period as we're trying to come out of it. You can't, to make it all or nothing, to make it we're all in either horrible danger or there's no risk is foolish. We know there's some risk, and we want people to be able to come here and know that the people who are sick or might be sick can stay home and still participate if they wish to. So I'm trying to be flexible. I'm trying to say we're trying to come back, but just like you don't want somebody to come to your office, if they've used up their sick leave or something, we want people to be able to participate from home where possible, or from an RV or whatever. And the Brown Act has always had weird quirks to it. Like you can be in a foreign country and you have to post so that people can come to a meeting. Like who in New Zealand wants to come to one of our meetings that I have to post this? I mean, there's a lot of it that doesn't even make sense. So, for me, I'm trying to dance this line. It's temporary. I see it as a temporary bridge until we either come out of this or the new virus hits, whatever it is.
Nancy and
Hi, ma'am. I support this because I feel that in the last 6 months, I would have missed 3 meetings. 2 because I had COVID, even though I don't go anywhere. And the other one was even worse than COVID. I had the flu. My oxygen levels dropped to 70s, and there's no way I would have been able to sit on here as I was on oxygen, but I wanted to participate in the meetings as chair of the policy and procedure. And now, due to circumstances in the last few years that I did not foresee, I'm a single woman. I don't want to have to post my home address where anybody can come from anywhere to come to my house. There's safety issues there. And so I think those things need to be looked at, and that's why I am in support of this measure. No, I don't plan on staying at home unless I'm deathly ill, and I don't think anyone up here plans on, not using it unless they're on a family deal or work deal or really sick. So I don't think that it's been abused, and I think it's something that we need to look at, and that's why I'm in favor of it.
Trustee Aguilar?
I feel like you were talking to me. It's not. I mean, I guess that's why most of the board members are retired. I have a full-time job, but I want to serve, and this is my second term, and I think I have a good report for my community. I want to continue to serve, but if not, if we're going to pass this, I would really like for us to change the meeting to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because that way I can attend the meetings, but I just think we're losing the flexibility that everybody's asking. Faculty, we're all asking, and we're saying, yes, we should have that, but we're not going to do it for us because it looks bad. I mean, I think we're saying two things at the same time, so I support it because I want to have the option of still serving in this board and still earning a living.
I think we've got to separate our willingness to serve based upon the specifics of AB 361 and the governor's executive order. As it relates to, I understand that. I'm just saying we need to stay specific to the governor's executive order, AB 361, and the Brown Act. And, elected officials are different than employees. And I'm not saying that unwillingness to serve and all that. I'm just trying to say how I feel and trying to avoid a situation where we're going to find ourselves in a Brown Act, because the comments that have been made here, I get it. None of them so far have been related to COVID-19 and the governor's executive order and AB 361. None of it.
Nancy?
Well, Nancy, I go with it. We're talking about an ongoing thing where, and I get it. I'm not saying people's unwillingness to serve and commitment and all that, but we've got to stay in the context that's just me. We got to stay in the context of what's going on.
Mr. Chair, I think you've made your point.
I know.
You've said this a couple of
I
times.
know. I'm going to a motion.
Okay, but I mean,
Okay.
you've stated your position and it hasn't changed. So
I
think
didn't
it's-
ask for a change. I'm not asking for a change. That's not what I'm trying to do. Okay? So, Trustee Vulcan.
I'm looking at the original resolution because that's what was the springboard to go for an edit. And I think it's important to make sure we publicly acknowledge what the original resolution suggests, which says that there's only one condition that we can meet the requirements of the AB 361, and that is because the state of emergency continues to directly impact our ability to meet in person. And the state of emergency that they refer to is COVID-19. So I just want to say that what we need to be conscious of what we're voting on. And the title AB 361 on the edited one doesn't align with the intent, in my opinion, of the language of AB 361, which only gives permission under COVID-19 when there is a state of emergency, which there is. We do have that. That directly impacts our ability for the members to meet safely in person. So that, I'm struggling with the edit of the language to have strayed far from what the language of the bill. And that's where I agree with you, the Brown Act would be in question.
So is there a motion to approve the item?
I move to approve.
A motion to approve by Dr. Milton Richards. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, seconded by Trustee Jenny Nicolau. And let's do a roll call vote.
Trustee Aguilar,
Aye.
Trustee, or Vice Chair Briggs,
Aye.
Trustee Bolka?
No.
Trustee Hinton?
Aye.
Trustee Richards?
Yes.
Trustee Nicolau?
Yes.
Chair Gura?
No.
The vote is 5 in favor, 2 opposed, the motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to item 8.1, request for future board agenda item. Trustee Richards.
Most of the boards and things that I've served on, we've had an attorney present during meetings, and we've had an attorney that we could call. I would like to see agendized a study that would present the possibility of hiring either a general counsel or a firm to serve in that role, that would attend meetings and that would answer our questions, and that would also do things like, we made it very clear, it's time for us to get a negotiator rather than using the president, who does an excellent job, but he's the president, we should have a negotiator. So I'd just like to see an agenda item, and apparently it's been discussed before, I'd like to see that. And I suspect that when we look at what we're spending on lawyers, it wouldn't be that much more expensive, and I think it'd be great to have a lawyer here to answer our questions.
Thank you. Yep, it has been brought up before, thank you. Anyone else? Looking around, Nancy Hinton.
I would like to see us doing a study on both campuses for disabled access.
Hey, I think we just, refresh my memory, I think we just had an ADA visit, was it last year from the state of California?
We can ask Judy to
I think it was last year. They were required to do an audit of all of our facilities, and I think the last audit, on-site audit, was last year.
Specifically for one of the two sites, it might not necessarily be both colleges.
So let's put that on there and just get an update from Judy on our ADA compliance.
I had mentioned,
Turn on that mic.
yeah. I had mentioned before, I think it was last month, about discussing the possibility of having a trustee from Columbia, a student trustee from Columbia, and a student trustee from MJC with 2-year overlapping terms. So they could sort of mentor each other, and then the next one could, And I don't know if that's in the pipeline yet, but I just want to make sure it doesn't fall through the cracks.
No, we have that on record.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Now, just for clarification, so we're pushing that to the students for their discussion first, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know, because there's a rotation of student trustees, the student bodies have, since I've been here, I believe 2, maybe 3 times, the discussion has come up, but every time it's been, to remain status quo, but we can pass this new.
No, the idea actually came from one of our former student trustees who really and it was, I think, the board at the time that turned it down.
I think it went through the Associated Students,
Did it?
and yeah, it wasn't in favor, yeah.
We'll get an update from
We
them.
can-
How's that? We'll see where they're at now. Okay, comments from the Board of Trustees. And first I want to lead off, so this way you have 2 things to attract people to your dorm. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we'll give you this parting gift on behalf.
I know.
Really? Hello, testing. Major Tom to ground control. Hello. Okay.
Back in.
One more time. Yeah, these are classy, aren't they? Yeah, see, okay, hold that up for everyone to see. Actually, it's been odd, right? I mean, this is like your first time really meeting all of us. We've all been trying to do our best with Zoom, and we just really want to thank you for your commitment to your fellow students and to the board, and all of your input and insight as it relates to the students, and even sharing with us your journey. So you haven't made up your mind yet, UC San Diego or UC Santa Barbara.
Yes.
And your major is going to be?
Applied mathematics.
Applied mathematics. It's already moving past me, so, yes, all right. Brian Sanders is all on board with that.
Thank you for all the
Come on,
Zoom meetings.
thank you very much. Thank you. you'll have a wonderful journey at either place, and you'll come back here and teach for Yosemite Community College District, and we'd be grateful and happy to have you. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Give me this
Let's just do
microphone.
the photo and then
Oh, with that absent the one?
absent the one. And then maybe at the end of the meeting, we can get a full board photo.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. You bet, you bet. Yes.
Something else you need to know.
Oh, okay.
I just have to make sure it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like us to see, put on the agenda for the future, a discussion in regards to the music department and the petitions and things that we've gotten, that we discussed that.
Okay.
I think that's really important.
Very good, thank you. Comments from board members? You already had your chance.
That was agenda.
I was gonna go with Antonio first, but okay, go ahead, you already got.
Dr. Tran, this is my first time I've met you, and I just want to welcome you here. And for the people at Columbia, I'm a West Virginia University graduate and worked at a place called Simon Fraser in Burnaby, British Columbia, and this is a wonderful, beautiful campus. And I want to thank you for hosting us, and I was reluctant to come up here, but I'm glad I did. And I look forward to coming here for other things. Nothing, I'm honest.
Brutally, yes. Antonio.
I'm gonna give my time, no. No, a pleasure to meet you, and I'm looking forward to working with you, and I love this campus, so that's why I kind of voted for Help before. I just love coming over here. I wish I would've came to college here, but, you know.
You still can.
Free for me in the fall.
Free for me.
No, it's free for me
Free
now.
for me now.
Yeah. So, thank you guys, it's a beautiful campus, and thank you, and congratulations, first time that we saw you in person.
Trustee Bolton.
I have a few things. First of all, congratulations to educators. Today, California Day of the Educator. And I was at the Teachers of Excellence dinner in Tuolumne County where Kathy Kenna was honored along with all of the other educators of Tuolumne County. Very, very nice event. And I wanted to congratulate Casey Fulkerson for the Classified Employee of the Year. She's amazing. Both wonderful selections. I wanted to thank Dr. Tran for hosting us at Columbia College. We'll have 4 meetings here per year. I thank my fellow trustees for approving that addition to our policy. And I want to welcome Andrew Echevarria, and also welcome Neolani Pitzer that you introduced and read her summary. I wanted to end though with how absolutely beautiful the Columbia College graduation was. And so many accolades that are so deserving of that very beautiful event that were already mentioned. But I agree with you, Brian, that the way that we held it in Carkeet Park, I don't know how we can go anywhere else. That was just magical, surrounded by the trees and just in that beautiful environment. It was so beautiful. But the day before the graduation, I was at the Fire Academy graduation with Dr. Tran. And my shout outs to Shane Warner for the absolutely stellar program that he offers. And we had Chief Amy New that came from the Sonora City Fire Department give the speech to the students. And I don't know why I felt so moved, but she turned around and spoke to the students instead of speaking to the people there. And I couldn't help but notice that there were 5 women amongst the 33 candidates in the audience, seated in the student seats. And I know that we're for everybody, but in mostly male-dominated fields, it's so noticeable to see the efforts that Shane does to make sure that there's a representation of women. And after the graduation, Dr. Tran and I sought out each of the 5 women and took a photograph. I still haven't, Colleen took the picture, I think. and took a photograph of those women. And to one of them I said, I don't know what it is about you, but you look like the next chief of the city of Sonora, because Amy really, I don't know, there was something so beautiful about what she said during that graduation. But then the next day at the Columbia College graduation, so many other things were going on. There was the CNA graduation that was going on, the preschool graduation. And what was so beautiful about the Fire Academy and the CNA, and then getting to the bigger one, was that at the Fire Academy graduation, there were captains and chiefs from departments from all the region that were there to pin the students who had received a job. All of them received a job offer. That was just, to me, that was the crescendo of the whole event, to go through your schooling and then get offered a job right there. I also understand that the hospital and Tyler Newton was there at the CNA graduation to do the same, to sort of be there to recruit the future CNAs. And of course those little preschoolers and all the work that's done, I mean, they're our future students. But that beautiful graduation out in Carkeet Park, that I want to thank Michael Igo and Courtney Sutton for their amazing logistics that has to happen for that event. But I was accompanied by Trustee Garrett, who was there with me as the two trustees from the college. And to sit and look in the front row and to see Ashiar sitting in the front row. And I've met you before, because I met you when you first became a student trustee. We met with you to talk about what your role is. But to see you there was for me the best first time seeing you. Was the culmination of your time here. And then in the center of the row was Ricky Lee Corba. So what a wonderful thing for a trustee to be able to be there to watch you get your diploma and then to see your photograph everywhere on all the publications. But last and not least, I have to say something very personal. I've lived here for 15 years. And I moved here to become the superintendent of Sonora School District. I'm getting a little emotional. Because across that stage, 15 years later, the kindergartners that were at my school, many of them graduated that day. And it didn't occur to me till I was sitting there and listening to the names. And I was telling Colleen later, because Colleen worked with me at Sonora School District when I first moved here. When Hannah Salyer's name was mentioned, I remember her name, and I hadn't seen her in 15 years. And she came across the stage, and I'm still putting it together, going, Hannah Salyers, I know Hannah Salyers. She comes across the stage, and she looks at me, and she says, thank you, Mrs. B. And I said, Hannah? Her mother was the PTA president at Sonora Sonora Elementary, and she was a kindergartner when I first started there. And her dad was my custodian. And so there was just this beautiful moment for me of culmination to watch a young person from one of our school districts come to Columbia College and receive their diploma from their former superintendent of schools. It was just such a beautiful moment. So thank you for making that absolutely wonderful for me. That's all.
Well, I don't know when
That's pretty good.
Alicia, do you have any final parting comments for us, words of wisdom?
I do.
All right.
I learned to move this here and then just leave it right here. All right. Thank you, Chair Garrett. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Young, community members. I would like to first thank everybody for what an opportunity I've had here and the amount of just leadership qualities that I've learned. And even though we weren't in person, every single person in this room has helped develop my leadership skills and make them even better. So I really appreciate every single one of you. And I really appreciate all the work, all the work that it takes within essentially just a multi-layered institution that, the YCCD district, just every piece, every person within this district has such an impact on the overall community. And And I think it's outstanding what every single one of us are doing and how much every single one of us care about our community. And I just want to say thank you. And it's been an amazing time. Just thank you to everybody who supported me. Also welcome Andrew and Neilani Pitzer. Everyone's surrounded by, both of you are surrounded by really good people, and you're in good hands. And I would like to actually discuss the two student trustee position. This was brought up to the students, and essentially they love the idea, and they think it's a great idea to be able to enhance and create a better student perspective to the board. And having two student trustees has the opportunity of doing that. However, doing that, there are some things that need to be discussed. How would the two student trustees work together? How would there be still one voice sitting here in the board meeting? Would there be two people sitting here in the board meeting? And exactly what are the dynamics of that? Would that create more unity, or would that actually create two separate voices that are representing the student voices? So these are just a couple of factors to think about. Again, the idea of creating better student perspective is amazing. I think we all agree on that. And so another thing that was brought up is that the MJC and the Columbia College student bodies are actually trying to connect more. And there was talk about even a possible retreat for both student bodies to get connected and closer. And the students feel that this should be the start of the unity that they could start creating. So not necessarily jumping into a two student trustee position, but first, getting the both student bodies connected, and then going from there and seeing exactly where they would like to take it. So I think these are so cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate this so much. I appreciate this so much. I don't know what other words I could say other than thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you to you, and thank you for everything. We appreciate everything you've done. So, best wishes.
Thank you.
This is not the end of your journey. I'm sure you'll be back, so we look forward to that. Trustee Nicolau.
Thank you, Chair Garrett. I have two comments. One, and I've probably now said this 3 or 4 times, I really appreciate our thoughtful discussion and disagreement, so I just want to say that to my fellow trustees. I have learned a lot from you. I still have some time here, but I just really appreciate that we can respectfully disagree and discuss topics. And secondly, thank you guys for being in the audience. It makes it worth it. It's maybe boring too. You're likely hungry. I appreciate you being here, so thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Nicolau. Trustee Hinton?
It is nice to have an audience again. A little smaller than it used to be, but it's the beginning. And I, like Trustee Nicolau, appreciate the relationships that have been built on the board, and we can agree to disagree. And I think it's good for you guys to see that we're not rubber stamping everything. I'd also at this time like to thank our student trustee. He's been involved more than others in the past with the policy and procedures, and I appreciate your coming and answering questions when we've had questions for you. At this time, I'd like to thank or congratulate someone who's got their head down, because now I don't see him, Brian Sanders. I guess we'll be seeing you around MJC, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hinton. Trustee Beggs?
I'm just really sorry I had to miss graduation this year. It sounded so wonderful. I know. Although I remember one time I went up here and my hand was sore for like a week from shaking so many hands.
It was only 350.
It was after one at MJC. And maybe at some point we can figure out why we have to have them on the same day, because if you have to miss one, you have to miss both. I know there's a reason, but I'm wondering if it's a good one. But anyway, other than that, it's just great to be in person. I'm so sick of sitting at my desk staring into a computer screen, you have no idea. And I hope we all stay healthy, and I hope we're able to continue, and that who knows what the future holds. But I hope that we'll be able to continue doing this in person, for the most part.
Thank you, Trustee Bates. I just want to thank Dr. Tran for today, an immediate time frame of your graciousness and hospitality for our meeting here today, and thank everybody for working behind the scenes. And also, finally, graduation. You know, I never know how much time it's going to take to get from Modesto up here. You just never know. But thankfully, I left in time, and I'll tell you, no offense to our MJC folks, but I'm telling you, Columbia staff has got this drilled down to a science. I'll tell you, it was really, really good. Economy of scale, I get it, 140 versus 700, but I'm telling you, it was great. And even though I didn't follow the established program, and I got my timeout chair, it was amazing to stand there and listen to the students as they came up in line, and to see their children, their fiancés, their parents, and the well of emotions, and having that close interaction and listening to those stories. It was amazing. But I'm telling you, I couldn't have been more welcoming to come up here, and I mean, what's not to love about Columbia College? I mean, as I came in today, the lake, why can't we just all meet out at the lake? Right? It was just gorgeous. So that's all I have, and with that, the next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held on June 8, 2022. Closed session will begin at 3, open session at 5:30, and with that, this meeting